Hello everyone, welcome to Small Fry Chats. I'm Maisie and this is Anya, and we run Small Fry Collective, a collaborative creative network that's usually putting on exciting events, workshops and talks. As we couldn't put on these usual events, we began thinking of ways to connect with people at home. So we came up with a challenge, Who You Zooming, where we challenge people to send in drawings of their video calls from online yoga classes, gigs, work calls and live streams. We've had some great entries so far, some animated, collage, watercoloured and embroidered. We also encourage people to donate to Manchester Mind after doing their drawing. There is still time to enter, the deadline is the 25th of July. We would love to see some drawings of this evening's event. We felt that a natural next step for Who You Zooming was to continue our Small Fry Chat series on Zoom and take the opportunity to raise some more money for Mind with ticket donations.
We chose to raise for Manchester Mind as they've never been more needed. They do incredible work providing advice and support to empower anyone experiencing a mental health problem. Thank you so much to everyone that's donated so far. I'll put another donation link into the chat for those of you that still wish to donate. Now let's get started. So each talk this evening is going to be about 15 minutes long, and if you want to ask a question you can use the Q&A box and each of the speakers will reply what they can as we go along. We are so proud to introduce our lineup tonight. We have Yuck Fun, Nicholas Stevenson, B. Grandinetti, and our first speaker, Wendy Wong. Wendy is a freelance illustrator born and raised in Manchester, living in London. Her style is graphic, using bold lines and bright colours inspired by awkward body shapes, cartoons, and her own experiences. Her work can be silly and lowbrow, but always with a sense of humour. Welcome, Wendy. If you could share your screen. Great. Okay.
Hi. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
That's great.
Okay. Sorry, just didn't want any technical difficulties. Hi, everybody. I'm Wendy. Like they said, born and raised in Manchester, but currently in London. Just to give you a bit of a lowdown of what I'll be presenting. I'm just going to show you a little bit about my journey and how I found my style I've been drawing since I was a child, but really in my style for the last 2 years and how I kind of found myself. There we go. So when I first came to London, I came to study fashion textiles, and a lot of my work was very different, very broad, bunch of fashion illustration to portraiture. And then it led to what you can see on the screen right now, which is a lot of dot work and kind of weird stuff, quite gothic and dark. And it was something that I was quite fascinated with because I was inspired by people like Ralph Steadman and Crumb. But I found the style quite laborious. Like I could never find the fun in my work. I always felt like it was very stop and start. And when projects started, I could never really finish them because I didn't really have an inspiration for it. I just had a generic idea that I couldn't really follow through. So I stopped drawing for a year or two after uni because I really couldn't find any inspiration for it. So leads me to the next slide. I just kept drawing and trying to find my style and trying to find my place, which led to these drawings. I did a lot of things, not all of the things I'm proud to show, but these are kind of the first link into trying to bring some humour into my work and using myself as my own inspiration. Just awkward days of me trying to find a job and living post-student lifestyle. Does it work? God, I don't know if it's not working. Yeah. So the next one is a lot of drawings that I did. It was initially in a sketchbook, and then I tried to make them more digitized because I was initially just working on paper and tracing paper, and I had never worked on a digital format before. So I was trying to find a way to show my work and make it really clean. So initially it was just me drawing these things out, putting them into Photoshop and then just using the paint bucket to add colour. And so that's why a lot of these drawings are a bit, what I would say, a bit janky, a little bit rough around the edges. But there is that humour in it. I just wanted to have fun. I think for the first time in that period of my life, I was having fun with my drawing. So this is the outcome of that. And these drawings here are probably the most divisive of like my style. They are what kind of turned me into the artist I am today. As I was still working with paper and still not really working so digitally, and then just trying to find a way that it would work within my style with the limited tools and skills that I had, because I'm traditionally like a fine artist, like finding a way for it to work for me. So yeah, just using funny shapes and mental health, my own experiences with mental health and living in London as an inspiration at that point. So one of the things that I did to really cement my own style was to do 36 days of type. So I started the challenge quite late, so I had to do like the first 6 letters in one day to catch up. But I found it really enjoyable to actually force yourself to do one thing a day. And it helped me grasp, because I just got an iPad at that point, and started using Procreate to cement what I liked in my drawings and how to make them work in the rigid sense of a typeface. So for anybody that is learning to or trying to find their own style, I think a challenge like this is probably the most appropriate thing to do. So as I said, a lot of my drawing is inspired by my own experiences. So I currently work a full-time job as well as freelancing. So a lot of my drawings will be done after work, or now that I'm on furlough, just during the day. But it was just, this work is inspired by all those times where you're kind of staring at your screen for too long and you're going a bit nose blind and eye blind and can't really see anything else, and the tiredness of it. Get in the Bin, which is a bit of a sad title for this work, was based on my pressures and what I thought was expected for me as a illustrator, because I don't have an illustration background. I didn't study at uni. I did feel a bit insecure when I was first starting out. So this was a kind of response to that. And traveling. So for my full-time job, I travel quite a lot. And it just came out in my drawings. Like, I'm really inspired by, weirdly enough, fashion illustrations and contorted bodies and strong lines, cartoons. So whenever I can see, can mesh that with my real life, this is kind of what amalgamates into that. So yeah, so these are a couple of examples of work that I'm primarily quite proud of. One is Superwoman Pose, which I did for my friend for a zine, just because I'm really proud of how it came out. It's based on a study of, if you do a Superman pose, you will intrinsically feel a little bit more confident about the day. And the second one is for First in the Fight book, which is based on the 20 top women based in Manchester, well, top women, feminists that help in the fight for feminism in Manchester. And I had Mary Quayle, who was I think I'm pronouncing that right, an Irish trade unionist in the early 1900s. So during lockdown, so this is some of my work during lockdown that I think a lot of people have done work during lockdown, but I think it kind of just shows you a few examples. So Support the Fight was a design that I did for my friend's t-shirt label, Done London, and the money for the t-shirts was made to be donated to the Lewisham and Greenwich NHS Trust. And the other works are just my response to being stuck in the house all day. So you've got Waiting. Shapes of the Day was, I finished quite recently. It was more about compartmentalizing the day into shapes to fulfill, and then until you get to the end of the day. Something that I think a lot of people have started doing to kind of waste away and complete the day in that period. And Flower Dude is just a bit of nonsense. I just wanted to bring out the fun again. I felt like a lot of the work was just becoming a lot about quarantine and about lockdown, and I wanted to have fun again. I think a lot of the time, which is primarily the reason I gave up doing dot work and things that were so serious, was because I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to be that child again that would have fun with my work, and if it's not fun, then you shouldn't really be doing it. Shapes of people was another thing, just in response. So the style's a little bit different, not a lot of outline in this one, because I wanted to challenge myself and see if I could broaden my style a little bit. And the last one is my entry to Who You Zooming. I really enjoyed doing this because it's, I think, a part of everybody's environment at the moment, just to be on camera, on Zoom, and seeing all the weird and wonderful news stories that you keep seeing nowadays of, people doing embarrassing things, people getting pissed, and cats and animals embarrassing themselves, and just having some lovely human moments as well. So yeah, that's my work. That's the presentation.
Thanks so much, Wendy.
Sorry.
Using an entry, it was so amazing. But if anyone has any questions for Wendy, you can pop them in the Q&A box and she can answer them if she can as we go along. Thanks, Wendy.